Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this special edition of ABC24. I'm Kevin McNamara. Reactions continue to pour in after the guilty verdicts of the three former MPD officers accused of violating Tyree Nichols' civil rights. The jury's decisions have reignited discussion on police reform, with at least one state lawmaker stating it motivates him to advocate for changes at the state capitol. Memphis Representative Justin Pearson aims to pass laws in the upcoming legislative session starting in January. He says it's crucial to address police brutality and protect communities from discriminatory police practices to prevent incidents like Tyree Nichols from happening again. However, he faces challenges because of the supermajority Republicans now control in the legislature. So what happens next? Well, all three former officers are now convicted felons. We won't know the length of their sentences, but up to 20 years maximum until January 22nd of next year. Shelby County DA Steve Mulroy won't move forward with the state trial, which includes second-degree murder charges, until the federal sentencing against all five officers involved are decided. Nichols' family also filed a civil lawsuit against the city of Memphis, set to start next March, seeking $550 million. News right now. A Tennessee law giving the state attorney general control over death penalty appeals was upheld by the Court of Appeals. DA Steve Mulroy again challenged the law, arguing it violates the state constitution and voter rights. Supporters say it ensures justice in older death penalty cases. The ruling highlights a broader national conflict between state officials and progressive DAs over enforcing laws like the death penalty. But President's Island is set to undergo more changes, partly thanks to billionaire Elon Musk. The Edge Board, which promotes economic development in Shelby County, has approved 2 long-term leases for properties on 550 acres of land. One of these properties may be a battery storage warehouse for Musk's XAI facility. The new leases could provide Edge millions of dollars to use as it wishes. Across Tennessee, first responders are working tirelessly to help in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. Army National Guard pilots stationed near Knoxville joined the effort within hours of the storm. The pilots described intense experiences in the sky, including violent winds, heavy rains, and rough turbulence. It's currently unclear how long their recovery efforts will be needed. Elsewhere in East Tennessee, Helene wiped out the oldest food pantry in Cott County, a place with a population of just under 36,000. The breadbasket lost all its deep freezers and coolers, leaving it with nothing to offer the 1,000 families it serves monthly. Director Trish Clapper is determined to continue their mission and has been providing assistance throughout a mobile unit since the flooding. The pantry is currently in need of support to rebuild and continue serving the community.
We chose to still gather donations and drive around and help the people that aren't getting the help on the outskirts.
Trish carries a sign that says nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. It's a motto she believes in as she works on making positive changes for the breadbasket. But the aftermath of Hurricane Helene is hitting the southeast hard. In Irwin, in Tennessee, a prayer vigil was held for factory workers affected by floodwaters. Last week, they swept away several employees at a plastics factory, and tragically, 2 employees lost their lives, with 4 others still missing. Survivors allege the company instructed them to work and release them too late to escape, but the CEO denies these claims.
That employees were told to leave the plant at least 45 minutes before the gigantic force of the flood hit the industrial park. There was time to escape. Employees were not told at any time that they would be fired if they left the plant.
The CEO says the company will fully cooperate with the investigation. Over here in the Weather Center now with Chief Meteorologist Danny Amos. Danny, obviously we're not dealing with any of those kind of effects here, but what are people going to be looking at here?
Beautiful days ahead.
Okay.
Kevin, believe it or
Lot
not,
better.
we hit 90 degrees today for a high.
I can believe it, actually. Having stepped outside, I can believe
It's
that.
very summer-like outside, and this trend is going to be continuing into your Sunday as well. So
Okay.
enjoy the nice weather while you can.
Fall is waiting a little bit later.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Here is a look at your highs across the Mid-South. 91 degrees in Tunica. It definitely felt like summer outside. Plenty of sunshine and plenty of above average weather. This trend will be continuing into your Sunday. Overnight tonight, not too bad temperature-wise. 67 degrees as you wake up for your Sunday morning. Sunday will be a beautiful day, but if you have any early morning plans, watch out for some visibility concerns. You can see a few areas of patchy fog could be developing, but then it will clear out by 8 and 9 a.m. Tomorrow, highs definitely above average all across the Mid-South. We have another great chance of hitting that 90-degree mark. 90 in Dyersburg, 92 down in Clarksdale. This is definitely a midsummer forecast. Humidity really won't be a concern, but you're going to feel the difference because we have been a little bit cooler throughout this week. Here's a look at your planner for tomorrow. In the morning, temperatures into the upper 60s. Plenty of sunshine. By 4 p.m., we could still be hanging out in the upper 80s. Enjoy the warm weather while you can if you are a fan of summer, because starting Monday, our temperatures are going to be falling. In fact, highs will be into the upper 70s. A big temperature change as a dry cold front will be coming through the Mid-South. Sunday night going into Monday, cooling us off tremendously. Tuesday morning when you wake up, it could be into the mid-50s. So that's definitely a big change. Now, we are keeping our eye on the tropics. The good news I have to bring to you is we're not going to be seeing any impacts from what we could be seeing by Wednesday. Right now, Hurricane Kirk, Hurricane Leslie, and now Tropical Storm Milton. That's the storm that we had our eye on. We knew there could be the potential for some development in the Gulf, and now we're starting to see that. Forecast track shows that we are not going to be seeing any rainfall or any impacts. There's one rogue forecast track that shows maybe a possibility, but whenever we see that, that's not very reliable. Our temperatures are not going to be impacted by this. We're not going to be seeing any rainfall. We are going to be having some cooler weather as we head into next week, but that has nothing to do with rainfall at all, Kevin. So plenty of sunshine. Enjoy this nice week of fall while you can.
Scammers often prey on vulnerable people who need help after a hurricane. The FBI gave advice on avoiding those hurricane-related scams. Take a listen.
To your home and it's claiming to be an insurance professional, make sure they have proper ID. Make sure they're not asking for personal information. You're not giving out your social security number, your date of birth to somebody you haven't fully vetted.
If you believe you may be the target of a scam, you can report it 24/7 by calling the number on your screen, 615-741-4737, or email stopfemafraud@fema.dhs.gov. We continue to wait for any new information after the FBI was involved in a shooting at a hotel in Hernando. Here's what we do know. The shooting occurred at a Super 8 hotel yesterday morning. One person was killed and no FBI agents were injured. Eyewitnesses reported hearing shouting and gunfire, and the situation was resolved quickly.
I didn't feel like anybody was really in danger except for, you know, who they was after. Bad guy go down is all I can say. I mean, if that's, you know, the FBI was here, they were the ones that did it. It had to be something serious is all I can say, you know, man down.
After the shooting, FBI agents collected evidence at the scene for nearly 12 hours. But the identity of the person killed has not been released, and nearby businesses were secured by law enforcement for safety. Well, just days after new evidence was found in the case of Morgan Nick, the 6-year-old girl who disappeared in Alma 29 years ago, the Morgan Nick Foundation continues to spread awareness in her memory. Reporter Kayla Davis visited Southside High School in Batesville, Arkansas, where the foundation hosted a seminar for more than 100 students.
In the digital age, minors are more and more susceptible to becoming victims of sex trafficking. According to the Morgan Nick Foundation, Arkansas ranks second in capital for registered sex offenders in the country. The average age of a trafficked child is only 12 years old. That's why one of the foundation's main initiatives is to educate the youth on the dangers of social media.
I don't think that they really understand how much of their information is out there through social media, through the internet, without them giving that information to someone verbally.
On Friday, the foundation's assistant director, Genevieve Strickland, hosted a seminar for around 120 students at Southside High in Fort Smith. For some students I spoke with, they've never had conversations at home about online predators.
I heard about it before on media, but I never knew the extent it would go to and how far people would go to just traffic kids.
That's why conversations at school are so vital.
It's important for us as teachers, coaches, whatever, to step in and make sure the kids are getting the information that they need to know. It's a scary world. I was around when, Morgan was kidnapped, so it's definitely scary.
For the kids listening, shock at many of the facts Strickland talked about.
I never really thought how trafficking could be around me or get to me. I always thought it was in other places far away and in underdeveloped countries and stuff.
As you hear the kids leave the class period, you hear them saying, oh, I think I may need to go unfriend a few people. I may need to not talk to this person anymore.
Strickland says if these conversations could help even one child, it's worth it.
The more we talk about this and normalize it, it gets rid of that feeling of it being wrong or ugly.
Staying in Arkansas, the Secretary of State's office says after counting the signatures turned in by the group behind a medical marijuana amendment, they do have enough signatures to qualify for a vote this November. This comes after the Secretary of State was ordered by the state Supreme Court to verify the signatures. And you will see that amendment on your ballot as issue 3 this November. The case is still headed to court to decide if the voters are for or against. The amendment should be counted. In some parts of the country, there's a push to support radioactive victims, but it looks like it won't be a national effort, partly thanks to a Mississippi legislator. While addressing a group of journalists, Republican Senator Roger Wicker discussed the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, which is currently in limbo. Wicker voted against the legislation in the Senate, and it now faces an uncertain future in the House.
That is an issue that will be resolved in the next Congress. It's not something that the House of Representatives is going to take up this year. I think a better solution to that would be to tailor it more precisely.
Senator Wicker went on to say the cost of RECA is a concern for many lawmakers. If passed, it would provide funding for people who became sick from radioactive waste. Your voice, your votes. With Election Day less than a month away, time is running out if you haven't registered to vote. In Arkansas, there was a rally today to encourage people to get registered.
I would say, young people, this is your moment. They always say that young people are our future, but they are our present. They can decide this election. In 2008, Obama won because young people came out to vote. African Americans came out to vote, and we can do it again.
Remember, the deadline to register to vote is this coming Monday, October 7th. You can register in person, by mail, or online. Nearly 2 months after an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump's life at a rally, he's back in Butler, Pennsylvania, at the same place where a gunman fired shots at the former president. The local sheriff's office says as many as 60,000 people are expected to attend. It's a big difference at today's event and at all public events since the assassination attempt. Glass surrounding where speakers will address the crowd. Today, the Tanger Outlet hosted the Pink Party with DeSoto Hope and Baptist Cancer Center to support breast cancer awareness and research efforts. DeSoto Hope is the only support group founded by friends and fellow cancer survivors in DeSoto County. They deliver hope baskets filled with satin pillowcases and anti-nausea droplets. Today, they were selling coupons that could be used at various stores, with the proceeds going to help deliver even more baskets. They have an auction coming up on October 22nd to help raise the funds. That's all we have for you here on this special digital edition of ABC 24. We will see you on the news after the game. Take care.